Hello, my name is Shiv. I am recovering from complex PTSD. I'm a survivor of physical and emotional abuse as a kid, and then a lot of bullying. Um, some of it racially targeted, but it doesn't stop me from thriving today. So I want to talk about orthorexia and my struggle with it. That kind of stuff. If it triggers you, you can definitely click off, and it's not, nothing lost. Take things at your own pace always. I got bullied a lot when I was a kid, especially in grade school. I was not very athletic. I was this strange guy who, I liked reading textbooks for fun. I was not athletic, and, I'm an Indian guy, and I'm pretty nerdy. I even have Schrodinger's equation tattooed on my shoulder. I'm pretty proud of that now, but, wasn't easy then. I got bullied a lot. A lot of it targeted at my race. And I came to really believe that, because I'm unathletic and I don't look good, nobody would ever love me. So, also, I'm at home and I'm being abused by my parents, so that doesn't really help. So I went to college, and before college, I got really into weightlifting. I realized I'm pretty damn strong. I probably put on 25 pounds of muscle within a couple of months. And I would just go to the gym. I would put on death metal, just very angry music, and I would lift weights, and I would just imagine beating the shit out of the people who bullied me. Pretty soon I became very extreme with my diet too. I remember I would eat 12 eggs a day. I would put a plate full of spinach, and then I'd just put a bunch of eggs there and a bunch of cottage cheese. And, it would be like a show. Everybody would be like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And I'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, I'm powerlifting. It was a good time in some ways for my self-confidence because I bulked up. I was getting some level of attention from women, which was nice. I still felt pretty ugly internally, unfortunately. But I think it got pretty extreme. It got extreme to the point where, I would be scared of eating desserts. It would cause me a lot of anxiety. I would track my calories and my macros very stringently. I would also go to the gym probably too much, lift too much weight, and I ended up hurting myself. I got really strong during that time period, but I did hurt myself pretty badly. And the reason I say it's orthorexia is because I damaged myself, unfortunately. I still have injuries that are lingering to this day, and I still get anxious about food. I had a video a couple videos back. I talked about the weight gain and bullying, and a lot of that I gained during my time of doing the PhD applications, and I've really been struggling with this belly. The internal monologue would say oh, you fat piece of shit, or nobody would ever want you, things like that. It's very hard. And I think a lot of men actually suffer from this, but it doesn't really, people don't talk about it because I think a lot of men are a bit extreme disciplinarians about the gym to the point where it's covering up some underlying pain and insecurity. I'm relatively open about it. It's still a little bit hard to talk about. I'm working on it with my therapist. A lot of it is related to my idea of what it means to be a man by my dad. My old man would, if I sent him a picture, he'd be like, oh, your belly's showing. And, I'd kind of laugh it off beforehand, but I started realizing, it really hurts because when I was younger, he would tell me oh, you're not athletic. When I was your age, I could outrun my dad and stuff like that. And I was a nerdy kid and I actually needed his support, but what I got was him kind of putting me down more and more. So that sucked. I was bullied a lot. So a lot of it is reflected in what it means to be a man for me. And, I've kind of come around to the idea that my idea of being a man is standing up for values that are pro-human. And for me, I think it's, instead of, showing strength by being kind of narcissistic, frankly, oh, look at my muscles and all that stuff. It's more about, can you actually show kindness to people after going through a lot of pain? I think that actually shows a lot more strength. And unfortunately, it's a lot of the times the more narcissistic types get more attention. I think, if you're of the type that you really stand for compassion, you really have to stand your ground and be like, no, fuck you. Like, I think compassion is better, and I'm okay if you disapprove of me. So yeah, I think that's a big thing. So the things that I'm doing right now are I'm going to the gym. My shirt is sweat stained. I have been going to the gym 3 days a week. I'm not lifting too heavy. I don't want to go back to the weights I was doing that hurt me. And I'm focusing a lot on mobility too. Like, I get massage therapy done just because I want to be limber too. I don't listen to death metal while lifting really anymore. I know it's just a dark hole that I can go down, and I don't want to do that to myself. I also hired a dietitian to help me with the food stuff and some of the exercise planning. I'm counting calories, but I'm not to the point of like I want to restrict it. It's more of just like I just want to know what I'm putting into my body and see how much I'm eating. I'm trying to be more present when I eat foods. So for example, I had a cake last week. It was a huge piece of cake. It was actually 2 slices. So I thought I'd eat both because that's what I've normally done. I've kind of gorged myself on sweets, but this time I was just eating and I was like, wow, okay, this is good. And then at a certain point, it's like, this is really sweet. And then I was like, this is too sweet. So I just ate the first slice and I put the other slice back. So I'm trying to do that. And I notice sometimes I'll shame spiral of like, I'll start eating. I'm like, oh, you piece of shit. Like, you're eating sweets. What's wrong with you? You're just going to end up like this. What's the point? And then I actually end up eating more sweets. And it sends me down that spiral. So it's definitely a binge type thing. And I do struggle with that. But I eat whenever I feel hungry. So I'm about to eat food. I think that's the way I want to live my life. I don't want to calorie restrict a ton. Like, I don't go below 2,000 calories, really. I try and stay at 2,400 range. I'm currently 203 pounds at 5'8", which is too much, but, it'll get better. So, anyways, this is the first video on this. I'm going to keep on improving on this front. Hopefully meet my strength goals. Thanks for watching. Take care.